Werewolves. The very word conjures images of full moons, howling silhouettes, and men torn between their humanity and their beastly instincts. From the myths of ancient Arcadia to modern Hollywood blockbusters, werewolves have prowled through our imaginations as both monsters and tragic figures. But what truly defines a werewolf? What makes them powerful? What makes them vulnerable? And what happens during that terrifying transformation from man to beast? Let's pull back the curtain on the legend of the werewolf. First and foremost, werewolves are predators, designed to terrify and dominate. Their most defining trait is superhuman strength, speed and agility. In folklore, a single werewolf can overpower entire groups of men, ripping through armour and weapons like paper. In pulp culture, we see this clearly in Underworld, where lycans can leap across buildings and wrestle vampires into submission. Even in Twilight, Jacob and his wolf pack are shown tearing through vampires with raw brute force, their bodies dwarfing the humans around them. But brute strength is just the beginning. Werewolves are also known for their enhanced senses. Their hearing can detect whispers from afar, and their noses are like biological tracking devices, able to follow prey across forests or even cities. Think of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, where Remus Lupin's transformation into a wolf reveals his terrifying ability to hunt by scent. Or in Vampire Diaries, werewolves are so sharp they could sniff out a vampire lurking nearby. Then there's their accelerated healing. Broken bones snap back into place, cuts seal within minutes, and bullets may push out of their flesh as the body rejects them. Unless, of course, those bullets are silver. In shows like Teen Wolf, Scott McCall and his pack shrug off wounds that would kill any human, making them nearly unstoppable unless their enemy knows their weakness. Their longevity adds another layer to their menace. In certain myths, their healing factor slows aging, making them live far longer than normal mortals. A werewolf could be centuries old, hiding amongst humans, waiting for the next full moon. And perhaps the most intriguing strength of all, the pack mentality. Unlike lone vampires, werewolves are often portrayed as fiercely loyal to one another. In stories like the originals, the wolf pack structure with its hierarchy of alphas and betas grants them unity, strategy, and even supernatural dominance. Alone, a werewolf is dangerous. Together, they are an army. Of course, every monster has its Achilles heel. For werewolves, the most famous is silver. Whether it's a bullet, a blade, or even a simple piece of jewellery, silver burns their flesh like acid. The Wolfman 1941, the film that cemented many of our modern werewolf tropes, established silver as the ultimate weapon against them. Since then, it's become an unshakable rule across movies, from Van Helsing to The Howling. Another poison to werewolves is wolfsbane. This herb, rooted in real-world toxicology, is deadly in many myths. In the Vampire Diaries, wolfsbane weakens werewolves to the point of collapse, while in Teen Wolf, it can paralyse or even kill them if used in high enough doses. But perhaps their greatest weakness isn't external, it's internal. The full moon. In classic lore, a werewolf's transformation under the full moon is uncontrollable. They become feral beasts, losing their humanity and often slaughtering indiscriminately. An American Werewolf in London captures this in one of cinema's most iconic and horrifying transformations. Here, the full moon is less a blessing and more a curse, turning man into monster without mercy. Then there's the danger of emotions. In modern portrayals, strong feelings like rage or fear can trigger a partial or full transformation. Teen Wolf plays heavily on this, with Scott's anger or stress sometimes forcing his claws and fangs to appear at the worst possible moment. Beyond that, There are the classic methods of destruction: decapitation, heart extraction, and magic. In some myths, only total body destruction can kill a werewolf. In others, witches' spells can bind, weaken, or even cure them. The takeaway: despite their power, werewolves are not invincible. They're as much prisoners of their curse as they are monsters of legend. Now, let's talk about the most infamous part of werewolf lore: the transformation. Becoming a werewolf can happen in many ways. The most familiar is the bite of another werewolf, seen everywhere from Underworld to the Vampire Diaries. But folklore offers stranger origins: being cursed by a god or witch, being the seventh son of a seventh son, or even drinking water from a wolf's paw print. In medieval Europe, some stories told of men who wore wolfskin belts to summon the beast within. But however it begins, the transformation itself is nothing short of horrifying. The process is agonising: bones snapping and reshaping, muscles tearing and regrowing, skin ripping as fur pushes through. It's not the gentle sparkle of a vampire. It's body horror at its rawest. An American Werewolf in London again deserves mention here. The protagonist's bones crack audibly, his spine arches unnaturally, and his screams blur into howls. It's disturbing but unforgettable. At first, most werewolves experience involuntary transformations. The full moon takes control and they lose all sense of self, becoming wild predators with no memory of their actions. But as the myths evolved, so too did the creatures. Modern stories often depict seasoned werewolves learning controlled shifting, retaining their human minds, even in wolf form. Teen Wolf explores this evolution deeply, showing Scott's growth from hapless victim of the moon to alpha who controls his power. Another strange element is healing during transformation. Because the act of shifting is tied to regeneration, some injuries vanish as the body reshapes, but it comes with a cost: pain, exhaustion, and hunger. Afterward, many werewolves are left ravenous, often craving raw meat, a detail highlighted in folklore and modern tales alike. Over time, the first transformation is always the worst. Subsequent shifts may become faster, but the pain never truly disappears, and that's the tragedy of the werewolf curse. It's not just physical torment, but the loss of control, humanity, and peace. So, what do werewolves represent? Strength beyond human comprehension. Senses sharp enough to make the world their hunting ground. Healing powers that make them nearly immortal, and yet they're forever chained to weaknesses. Silver, wolfsbane, magic, and above all, their own uncontrollable nature. In every story, the transformation is not just about a physical change, it's a metaphor. It's the beast within us all, the anger we can't control, the desires we suppress, the instincts we fear might overtake us. That's why werewolves endure across cultures. From the legend of King Lycaon in Greek mythology to Jacob Black in Twilight, they're not just monsters, they're mirrors. And maybe that's the scariest part, because the true horror of the werewolf isn't the claws, the teeth, or the full moon. It's the reminder that the monsters may already be inside us. Thanks again so much for watching. I'm Best, and it's been a pleasure being your host today. We'd love to hear your ideas for future videos, so drop your suggestions in the comments below, and if we pick your idea, we'll give you a shout out in the video and send you a $50 Amazon gift card as a thank you. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and tap that bell so you never miss what's coming next. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next one.